And let's ask Senator Tom Cotton, who will be in that hearing today. So, Senator, what makes you think, if you do think, that Ronald Roe might be more transparent than his predecessor?
Well, I hope he's more transparent. After what he saw last week, he has a good reason to be transparent beyond just wanting to tell the American people the full truth. There's a lot of questions that he needs to answer. For instance, why did the Secret Service deny the Trump team's requests for more security weeks in advance, maybe months in advance of this assassination attempt? Apparently, there were Iranian threats that caused some increase to the Trump team. So remarkably, what we saw in Butler, Pennsylvania may have been actually enhanced security over what President Trump had had for months. Likewise, the FBI director needs to answer for the status of their investigation, especially what they found about the motive of this shooter. I just think it's not credible to say that a 20-year-old who was willing to go and try to assassinate a former presidential candidate had zero digital trail, had never indicated anywhere, online, on social media, anywhere, any kind of motive. The FBI needs to answer for the state of their investigation. And frankly, having, say, covered up the motive of the Nashville shooter last year, they don't have a lot of credibility if they're not completely forthcoming today.
I know he had platforms in 3 different countries. He communicated with one of them right before he went into action that morning and seems remarkably composed and organized to be able to do this. This is a guy that got cut from his his JV rifle team in high school. And now he's taking shots at the President of the United States. So there are some questions. So what is your understanding going in about the communication or lack thereof between SWAT and the Secret Service? Because now Secret Service saying they were in contact with SWAT. SWAT's on another network saying, no, we never heard from them. What do you think's at? Where do you believe this is at?
Well, the track record so far, going back a couple of weeks, is with local law enforcement officials. Kimberly Cheadle continued to kept trying to blame local law enforcement for not securing that building or not acting more swiftly. In reality, we know now that the Secret Service is the one who's at fault here, not providing the resources needed. So again, he's going to have to answer these questions today. But given the track record, I have a little bit more faith in the local law enforcement than I do in Secret Service leadership. The agents on the ground were fantastic, as President Trump has said. But the leadership of the Secret Service has a lot to answer for.
And they had no idea there was a suspicious person out there while they were with the president before he went on stage. I want to change gears if we can and talk about the horrific situation now in Israel. It wasn't too long after the vice president met with Benjamin Netanyahu where she came out and made it clear that even though we're allied with Israel, our heart's really with those in Gaza. Listen.
Israel has a right to defend itself, and how it does so matters. What has happened in Gaza over the past 9 months is devastating. The images of dead children and desperate, hungry people fleeing for safety, sometimes displaced for the second, third, or fourth time. We cannot look away in the face of these tragedies. We cannot allow ourselves to become numb to the suffering, and I will not be silent.
Your thoughts about her stance?
Look, I know Kamala Harris well. We served together for 4 years on the Intelligence Committee. She is a dangerous San Francisco liberal. That statement last Thursday after she met with Benjamin Netanyahu was grotesque moral equivalence, basically blaming Israel for civilian casualties in Gaza, for civilian displacement, for kids starving there. That is 100% the fault of Hamas, which invaded and attacked Israel on October 7th and continues to use human shields inside of Gaza. And what happened less than 2 days after that morally equivalent statement? She emboldened other Iranian-backed terrorists in Lebanon to shoot missiles and rockets into Israel that blew 12 Israeli kids to pieces while they were playing ball on a playground. And she still has not condemned that attack in her own words. Kamala Harris is a dangerous San Francisco liberal who has no business being in the Oval Office.
And by the way, this administration is quietly starving Israel of weapons, from F-15s to F-35 engines to for tank ammo to JDAMs. People should look into this because you guys allocated those weapons and they're not delivering them. Meanwhile, there's a story out today in Axios that says if Trump is to win, he wants you to be Secretary of State, but did you rather be Secretary of Defense? Do you want to expand on that, Senator?
Well, President Trump will have a chance to make all those decisions after he wins, and the most important thing we do for the next 14 weeks is to ensure that President Trump gets elected and sent back to the White House, and we elect a Republican Congress to help him achieve his agenda. I want to do everything I can to help President Trump and J.D. Vance over these next 14 weeks and elect a Republican majority of the Congress. All those things will get themselves sorted out after the election.
It's your best chance to take the Senate for the next few years. So you got 5 or 6 really tough races. Not yours. Senator Tom Cotton, always great. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Brian.
Meanwhile, straight ahead.